Well, again, thank you so much for today. So today we want to discuss about building plan approval. Before I dive into that, there are a few things that I need you to know. Uganda is a country, it has its separate sets of laws, rules, and regulations, and statutory instruments that govern physical planning and building control. So all these have to be put in consideration as we dive in today to discuss this very important topic. My name is Bosco Odo. I am a quantity surveyor by profession, also a project manager. I have a PMP, or project management professional, and also practice quantity surveying within the construction industry of Uganda. So let us say, for example, you are a developer, you want to put up an apartment in Kamdini. What would be the procedures for you to put up an apartment in Kamdini? So the idea is you already own a land or a piece of land in a location that you already have. Now, before you cast any stone on these land, there are procedures that you're supposed to follow. You're supposed to meet according to the acts or to the regulations that govern development. Now, as Kamdini, because Kamdini we have sub-county and we have Kamdini Town Council. And Kamdini, all this is under the management of the Oyam district local government. So for example, you want to put a factory in Kamdini. The first thing, these are the requirements, and note very carefully. First of all, you'll need a registered land surveyor to do the boundary opening of your land. I'm not going to dive into the process of the boundary opening and stuff like that, but according to the new laws right now, any report from any registered surveyor, be it land surveyor, valuation surveyor, quantity surveyor, or hydrological and mining surveyor, it has to be authenticated. There's a system that has already been now opened up for this. So meaning the land surveyor will have to come and do a survey and open up the boundary and provide you with the surveyor's report, which is authenticated via that system. Now, once that is done, you may need, depending on your type of your project, you may need to undertake environmental and social impact assessment as required by NEMA. You know, the regulations that require you that based on the type of area that you're going to develop in and also what you're going to put up in, you're supposed to undertake the SHIA. So this may require you to hire specialized consultants, a group of consultants who can undertake this exercise. They will then draft for you the terms of reference, which should be approved via the system. NEMA already has the system for this. Once the terms of reference is approved, you can now go ahead on undertaking the environmental and social impact assessment, upon which after that you shall compile a report, the environmental and social impact assessment report, that will be endorsed by the regional manager and uploaded into the system. Before then, it will be reviewed, vetted, and any other thing that needs to be addressed will be addressed. And after that, once you are issued a certificate, a NEMA certificate, which is signed by the ED or the executive director of NEMA, meaning you're now cleared to go ahead and start your construction. This process may usually take 3 to 4 months, but you know, as a country, there may be a delay here and there. So once that is done, you already have now your surveyor's report, you have your NEMA certificate already. Now you need your building plans. So here now you'll bring a team of specialized consultants, for example, the engineers, the civil structure engineer, you'll bring the mechanical and electrical engineer, you'll bring the architect, okay? So the architect will produce the architectural plans, and the M&E engineer or the mechanical engineer will produce the mechanical plumbing plans, and the electrical engineer will also produce the electrical drawings and other schematics that is needed. The structural engineer will do the design analysis and the structural drawings for this factory that you're going to be putting up. And once that is done, all these plans are then gathered together and submitted to the building committee for in this case, the local government or the municipal or the city that you are applying for. In this case, we are applying to a YAM local government, so we shall be submitting this to the building committee for YAM district. Now, according to the Building Control Act and the regulations, it specifies that there are a list of some documents that you're supposed to submit along with these plans for consideration. So you may be required to submit the LC1 letter of introduction. You may be required to submit proof of land ownership. This could be the title or the sales agreement. You'll be required to submit details of these landowners and some other things as mentioned under the Building Control Regulations as amended 2020. So now, upon you submitting all these documents to the building control, or rather to the building committee, they will then have to sit. So they will have a sitting, and this sitting will be minuted. And just for clarity purpose, maybe if you don't know, the building committee is composed of a team of technical and also maybe some political figures. In this case, we have the building control officer or the BCO. We have the town clerk, we have the CAO, okay, we have the surveyor, we have the physical planner, and maybe any other persons that may be appointed. Some other districts may also decide to appoint the district health officer or a representative of the person with disability. Remember, when you're designing these things, you're supposed to take consideration for people who are disabled as well. So now, upon sitting, your submission will be reviewed, okay, your documents will be reviewed, your drawings and all other documents that you have submitted will be vetted, and due diligence will be done. Remember, this application will not be for free. When you're submitting this application, there's a price, there's an amount of money that you will be assessed, and you will pay this amount. The local government always use the system of IRAS. There's a new system that other municipalities and cities have already adopted currently, which is the BIMS. The BIMS is a system that has been developed by the National Building Review Board, and although at local government levels you may find that they've not yet adapted the system, so they will use the IRAS, that is the Integrated Revenue Administration System. They will use it to do the assessment, and they will provide you a PRN where you will have to pay this money in the bank or whichever method you can pay this money to URM. You will then submit the proof of the payment of this money alongside with your application. Your application will then be vetted by the building committee. But remember, something I skipped: before the building committee vets your application, there is one thing that you need first, which is also a requirement to be submitted to the building committee, and this is the development permission. Now, a development permission under the Physical Planning Act and also under the Building Controls Regulation, it is issued by the Physical Planning Committee. So the Physical Planning Committee is a committee that is constituted of the physical planner and his team. So they will also have a sitting, and their sitting will be minuted, where they will discuss your proposal, and this proposal will have to be in line with the overall physical plan for that area. For example, you want to put a factory in a place. Is that place gazetted for industrial use? Because you are not going to be allowed to put up a factory, maybe say in a place that is gazetted for commercial use or for residential use. In a scenario whereby they have to allow you to do that, then they have to go through a process which is to do with the changing of the entire physical plan, and that is a process that they will have to go through, and they will give you the permission. Now, the development permission, there's also a price attached to it, which is charged per which is also vetted through the IRA system, and a PRN also given where you will pay. So upon paying this payment, if your submission is considered by the Physical Planning Committee and found that it meets the requirements, you will also be given some conditions maybe that you should take in consideration during the construction or during this development. Things to consider may be like the power lines, the easements, the right of way for the road, and any access road that pass through maybe this plot. And considerations whether there are any social impacts or environmental impacts will also be done, because in that committee also the environmental officer may be present. So once you have this development permission or the development permit, which is a document issued by the Physical Planning Committee, you will also submit these to the building committee, because this is a prerequisite for the building committee to consider your application. So once the application has been vetted and any Any submissions that you're required to make, you've submitted them, and the payments that you're required to make, you've made them. Then they will, because now they will assess you on the basis of per square meter. According to the building control regulations and the schedules, Schedule 4, there are different rates for different types of building, classes of buildings. For example, Class A, Class B, Class C, there are minor buildings also there, renovation projects, new buildings, okay? So depending on your project, they will assess you. And also depending on where you're making your application, is it a municipality, is it a city, is it a district, okay? The different rates for all those places. Once you've been assessed for these, you will pay this amount via PRN, and once the amount has been paid, you will then be issued the necessary approvals. After the scrutinizing is done and the inspections are done, because the team will have to go to site and look at the site, ensure that what you've submitted is actually where the site is located, and they will then come back. They will then sit and agree to pass your plan or to approve your plan. Upon passing your plan, your plans that the blueprints that have been submitted will be stamped. So in this case, the building control officer or the district engineer will have to stamp it, the physical planner will have to stamp it, and the clerk, the town clerk may also have to stamp it, and another person that is on the committee. For example, the city surveyor or the district surveyor may also have to stamp it. So you need all these terms to make sure, and that is what constitutes the approval. Then upon the stamping of these drawings, they will then issue you a building permit, and this building permit is what now gives you the permission to go ahead and start construction. And this building permit is issued by the building committee, signed by the building control officer, and subsequent inspections are done following this approval. It does not stop when you've got the building permit. The concerned authorities will continuously come to inspect the site to make sure that you're conforming to the set requirements that is needed. There's no public outcry, and the environment is being taken care of. You're not dumping your debris or your rubbish anywhere. So still, you need to take care. So in Uganda, that would be a basic procedure of how you go about getting the necessary approvals before you can start constructing that project that you think you need to construct. Today we didn't talk about the whole part of how much it will cost. Maybe that next time we shall delve into that, and you'll get to understand, if I'm constructing this class of building, how much may it cost me in development permission and in building permission. Thank you for listening again. Once again, my name is Bosco Odon. You can reach out to me for any guidance regarding construction, regarding development, regarding real estate, and brokering for land property evaluation. We have our offices located in Kamdini, Corner Kamdini, that is in Oyam district. Reach out to us on the number that will be provided. And today, do not be cheated. They say if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. So you better plan with the professionals that you need. Have the quantity survey on your side to ensure that you keep your project costs in check. Have professional project managers to ensure that you mitigate the risks that come with development. And once again, thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in and reaching up to this point. May the Lord bless you. Peace.